Good
All
evening.
right,
Good
we are
evening.
on.
Good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evening's edition. Tonight we have Eastside Allan Lengel, Deadline Detroit, Washington
What up?
Post. What up?
Hello,
What up,
hello.
though?
What up? Not
And we
much. It's
also have
really
Jim Nardone, uh, former chief of police for the Trenton Police Department. Good evening, Jim.
Happy Friday to you. It's
Happy
Friday.
Friday. And of course, you have myself, Miss Vanessa Moss. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Lady T, who always makes sure that we are ready. Thank you so much, Lady T. I also want to say good evening to all those people that are joining us on all of the social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to ask, you know what we're going to want you to do. You know what we want you to do. First of all, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. And then the next thing we want you to do is tell all your peeps about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. We also want you to participate. If you have a comment, if you want to talk about something, make sure you put it in the comment section. Okay, I've done my intro. Let's go.
all right. Well, let's. We've got a video. Why don't we play the video of Horace Sheffield, who is saying that he has kept his silence during a lot of the campaign, which is not 100% true. But here's the video.
Reverend Sheffield, this is as I see it. The election is over. My quiet period that I promised probably is over. I learned an awful lot by being still and being quiet. One of the things that's important to know is if we're busy, God can't do what God needs to do. And ultimately, what he does is greater than anything we do. If we're trying to move mountains, if we're trying to put people in their place and strike back at folks who strike at you, that's us, that's not him. And so just want to thank all the haters and all the folks who tried to cast aspersions on me and my daughter and who, likened us to the Kilpatricks and, said all kind of unbelievable things. With that same mouth, by the way, they bless God, but yet they curse man. Thank you, because I've learned so much from this, and I'm patient, and I know how to be still now.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. He tries to sound very like circumspect and very like, hey, I'm a religious man and I'm biting my tongue or whatever. But it sounds like a little bit of thinly veiled threats of, hey, it's no more quiet for me. The people who went after Mary and me and all that kind of stuff. It sounds a little threatening to me, rather than, and I'm sure Mary doesn't want that tone to surface. I'm sure she would like him to continue to be low key, but we'll see. So I don't know what you guys think.
Let me ask you this. I'm just stirring the pot. Why do you say that why are you so sure that she wants him to remain quiet?
Well, I think I don't for sure. Maybe Adolph can. We just played the Sheffield tape, Adolph. So he's saying, well, my quiet period is looks like it's over, or whatever. I think that tells me that she probably said, or the campaign people said,
well, they had a muzzle on him. They let him do Facebook, but you can't keep. You know what? I talked to Mary in the past, and her and Horace clashed a lot. When she first got elected, Horace told Chief Craig, who was the chief at the time, that one of the businessmen in Detroit was trying to bribe Mary from the beginning. So Horace is probably upset that the guy didn't come to him first. But Horace is his own person, and when Mary gets in trouble, even though she says my daddy don't have nothing to do with it, she runs straight to her daddy, and he, whatever he does, he works to get her out of it. So he's on his own, and he's gonna do his own thing. He said he's not gonna stay quiet. He's gonna come at people who came at him, and they're pissed. From what I hear, is that people compare them to Kilpatrick and him to Bernard Kilpatrick. So yeah, he don't like that.
And is that a fair? Is that unfair?
Oh, he's worse than Bernard Kilpatrick. You know, he done had a whole 30, 40, 50 years of doing what he's doing. He can beg, I tell you. He know how to cut the deals, and he's chopping at the lips. They're already looking at the land bank and others. That time would tell in the first 6 months of her campaign that if you got all these celebrities or rappers and all these folks coming in saying we're gonna do some deals in Detroit, you know, well, she got to pay back some of these folks who gave her money, the weed people, all these folks gave her money. The towing truck guy from who just got a new contract in Taylor, who been involved in all kind of bribery schemes. He gave her money. So she took money from everybody. You know, listen, money, they never turned down. They never turned down any dollar. That they all look good to them.
Well, some people is of the opinion that he's just taking up for his daughter, that he's being protective of his daughter. He does not like the fact that people said these things about his daughter. He doesn't feel like they're true. And there are a lot of people who feel like, listen, he's just taking up for his daughter.
Well, they're going to have buyer remorse, just like they said about Kilpatrick, the same shit. And I was right there in the middle of all that shit. And I'm going to tell you, the road is being paved with the same kind of shit that Kwame and his daddy and the rest of them relatives, everybody that got a connect to her, they're gonna use this. Well, the mayor owes me. The mayor said this. The mayor promised this. When you're running, you say yes to everybody. And yeah, he's supposed to take up for his daughter. Listen, I'm not getting mad.
Right.
But when you do the things that you did, and people start making that comparison, you need to, what Michael Jackson say, look in the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
He need to look in the mirror and see, what did he do to make folks think that? What did she do? Listen, everybody don't have clean closets,
Right.
especially when you run for office. A closet full of skeletons. And what pisses me off now, all these people coming out saying all this shit. You know what? Where were you at 6 months ago when this shit happened? And where were the fucking media at? They know the shit, but of course, Allan, that somewhere down the line in February, March, April, some shit go down. ML and the rest of these your folks, you got them all planted in other places that used to work with you. They gonna be coming out writing stories, which they should. Right. The TV people, they the most useless people in the city, because all they do is read online articles, and then they report it. How many investigative reporters we got left on TV?
Not many. We got Ross Jones, Heather Catello. I don't know.
Do they put a scare in you?
Huh. Ross Jones, I think does some.
We used to have investigative reporters. If you say their name, people run and lock the doors. I remember one time I was in Cutters in the Eastern Market, and I was waiting. I was gonna meet Kevin Dietz. He walked in, man, it's like people would start leaving and shit.
Oh,
And the
really?
owner came up to me and said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Is Kevin Deese investigating me?" I said, "No, man, he here for a drink." I said, "Come over and meet Kevin." You know, but Kevin had a reputation. You
Yeah.
know, what was the guy over at Channel 7? Steve, the big guy.
Wilson.
Steve Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, you know, where he let himself be pushed around by Kilpatrick. And I'm saying, if he really, if he wanted to knock one of them out, he could have. But yeah, they saw him and they ran. What happened to Kilpatrick on Bobby Ferguson on his sister's porch
Wait,
with the deputy?
The police officer, he said,
Yeah, all this shit, you know. So listen, you got to be cool and calm, and Horace has to be cool and calm
Yeah.
because you know people. She's gonna have her critics, and she's gonna have people that take up for her. But hey, that's you. This is what you ask for. This is what you get.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. I
Yeah.
always say that, you know what, you're gonna take the praises, but you also gonna get the sock in the eye. You're gonna get the criticism. That comes with the territory. That's what you bargain for. That's what you ran.
And she don't have no thick skin. She got thin skin,
Well, some
and
our dad has thin skin as well.
and I'm gonna tell you, and what's so unfortunate that she lived a good life as a young person, doing whatever she wanted to do. Now, some of this shit is coming back to bite her in the butt, you know. Hey, listen, if it's gonna come out, let it come out. You just have to deal with it.
The thing that bothers me is how they handled the deal when she was having some relationship with the guy, you know, the demolition company. And you know, that's one thing. And I mean, she had the fact that she had to ask whether she should disclose the relationship, to me is like, I mean, it's government 101 or ethics 101. But the thing that was really the worst was that her chief of staff said, yeah, she didn't, she voted on these things, but she voted against all the contracts when it's just in 1 year she approved $4 million. So why are they just, I don't get.
Because they thought they were Duggan. They thought that since Duggan got gave $400,000 grant money to his now wife, and it wasn't, the story didn't last long. I guess they figured, you know what? Okay, this story is not gonna last longer than 2 days, so we can say what we want to say. Have they ever learned? They look at Kilpatrick when they talked about the Navigator, and they had 3 different versions of why they had that Navigator, and the one version, I'm like, well, it was an undercover car. It was used for police things. It was all kind of shit. And I told Kwame, I said, you know what? Didn't you buy the car? You got the car. You leased the car from Bob Maxey, a Detroit-based business. You got 3 kids and a wife, so it's big enough to carry all 3, and plus your wife. And you move on. I said Coleman Young got beat up for taking a limo from General Motors, and the first thing he said, "What the fuck you want me to ride in a Pinto?" He said, "And I'm gonna stick with what I'm riding in," and that was that. But they made a big deal of it. They told all kind of stories, and that Navigator followed them forever.
Yeah.
You know, for a whole year, they were still talking about the Navigator.
You know what, Adolph? I'm going to go to some comments and then we're going to go take a break. Trainee 05 said, "Good evening, everyone." Miss Sheila says, "Thank y'all for the Raw True Friday. Let's go." Kenneth Reed said the Navigator story was lit or hot. Stephanie Jackson made a couple of points. She said, didn't Kwame go to jail for giving his best friend contracts? Best friend versus boyfriend. Wow. She also says media gets more publicity by reporting the skeletons in the closet after a win, makes the fall from grace worthy of coverage. I think that is very telling. Kenneth Reed says they have the lady over there at Channel 4 that would chase you to talk about a reporter.
Very
Mr.
true.
Mr. Angela Beatty, good evening. Mr. 1213 says good evening. Karen Winston said when you got on camera, she said, uh-oh.
I think she's talking about something else, but let your friends know Adolph's back. Adolph's here.
Right. Kendall says, continue to take the high road, Reverend Sheffield. He thinks that he should take the high road. Eric Brown says, based on what is being said in the streets, we will be hearing a lot more from him, and it won't be hate talk. Interesting. Jill Sheridan says, so much to talk about. Where to begin? Janet, thank you for the listen. You listen. You do it every time. We thank you. Thank you for sharing Detroit Black and White. Eric makes a point, and I agree, and I think all of us will agree. Thoughts and prayers to Fred Durhal family on the loss of his dad. Absolutely. Janet overall said good evening, as well as Karen Winston.
Can I say something about Fred Durhal, Daddy?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I worked with Fred the Jr. There's three of them, Fred Jr. And listen, he truly was a person that looked out for the city, and he got into some hot water because he did look out for the city. And you got folks here saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. But Fred Durhal, he wanted to be the mayor of this city one day. And I told Fred, I said, they gonna come at you, Fred. You can't let people know that. He said, well, they just have to come at me. And this is when he was just a director of neighborhood city hall. He said, because I'm gonna get elected. And he ran several times until he finally got elected as a state rep, and he made an impact because during bankruptcy, when they was going to take all the pensions away from folks, he introduced a bill there, and he got Snyder to sign it. He got the Republicans to go along with him, and they passed I think it's about $20 million. But Fred, well, we called him the general. He did his thing, and sympathy go out to his family, but he was a good person, and he was a straight shooter, and he was a honest politician. And there was nothing corrupt or phony about it.
You know what? When I ran for office the first time, Adolph, you were there. He supported me. He said, "You know what? You're doing something a lot of people wouldn't do. You are running against an incumbent, and I like that. That takes a lot of guts to do that. So, I appreciate that. I respect that, and my prayers go out to the Durhal family."
Jim,
I just want to say hi to Jill Sheridan. She's a longtime participant on this show, and to Mary Kemet, and I believe it's Miss Rainey. I don't see Miss Rainey's comment. I lost it, so that's why I'm referring
about her favorite people. She said we're her favorite people.
Thank you, Tamika. Good evening to you. I don't want to forget our friends. I want to make one brief comment about Reverend Sheffield's whatever it is, statement, I guess, written statement. I'm trying to think of a sensible way to put it. And if you go back and listen to it, and I think everybody should, he didn't focus. If you really look at it, if you're really an investigator, you recognize who he's talking about. He's not talking about Mary Sheffield. He's talking about Horace Sheffield. So take a look at it. The first person he mentions is me, right? He's not talking about Mary. He's not offended because Mary was attacked. He's offended that he was attacked.
Well, as long as he's the elephant in the room. No question. We're going to take a break. We come back, Detroit in black and white.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. We are here with Adolph Mongo, who's joined us tonight, Allan Lengel, Jim Nardone, and myself, Vanessa Moss. I'm just going to read a few more comments, and then we'll go back to the conversation. We have Miss Sheila. She says, they say he looking at criminal charges. I certainly hope that is not true. I don't know who they say is, but that's what she says. Janet overall says, you tell what residents need to hear. Kenneth Reed says that the Dexter Elmhurst Center that's located on Dexter and Elmhurst has been refurbished and will be dedicated tomorrow in the name of education activist Helen Moore tomorrow morning. That is awesome. Ms. Sheila is encouraging me to run again. G Money Hollywood, thank you for joining us this evening. He says, greeting to Vanessa, Jim, Adolph, and Allan. Good to see you, Adolph, just joining. Tamara Kimmett said, that's right, Jim, if you're talking about the video. Kenneth Reed says, you're sounding great, Adolph. Continue to recover and get strong. We miss seeing you on the regular. Bora is a narcissist. I don't know who they're talking about. We also says, Stephanie Jackson says, Proverbs 18:19, a brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and quarreling is like the bars of a castle. G Money Hollywood says, Stephanie Jackson, I'm a fan of Kwame Kilpatrick. Hands off on Kwame. Laugh out loud.
And that's why we all have our
Reverend Kwame, $800,000 house, $1 million. He just can't help it. He got to stay in the limelight. So yeah, we'll keep his hands off. Just tell him to go away. Just go. You know, should have stayed in Atlanta somewhere. But anyway,
he wanted to come back home. I mean, listen, he grew up here. This is what.
No, he didn't. He grew up in Okemos.
Well, okay. He
grew up in Okemos. Let's get it right. He grew up in Okemos.
He grew up in Okemos, but he graduated from Cass High School. So
what? That matter. We're 2 years here. He grew up in Okemos.
People that still support him. He have a lot of people.
Oh, he'll get some votes if he ran. Right. And listen, if we got people that were, you dig up Coleman Young, the former mayor. People will vote for him to get reelected. Yeah, that's what people do. Just listen. I used to write for the Chronicle for a short time, and 3 to 4 years later, I go somewhere. I go back to where I grew up at, and somebody tell me, "Yeah, I just read your article in the Chronicle." I said, I'm thinking to myself, I haven't written for the Chronicle in 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know what article they was reading, but that's people. You know, people gonna stick with them. I knew a valet guy. He used to tell me, he knew I worked with Kwame. He said, if Kwame get time, I'll serve Kwame time for him. That's what he used to tell me. But then when Kwame got sentenced to 28 years, he said that's too much time. He wasn't serving 28 years. He'll give him 2 or 3, but not 28. But you know, people gonna vote. You know, they liked him. He was a pretty smart mayor. It was just the personal dumb things and the greed that got him. You know, and if Mary can stay away from that and keep the vultures from coming in into her administration and eating up the shit, she'll be all right. But looking at that transition team, oh man, she got some vultures. She got folks. I don't know. They brought them back from the political graveyard and made them relevant again. You know, get some new fucking people, not some old ass folks. But I want to ask this one question: what do you expect in Detroit in the new year? Jim, start with you.
What do I expect?
Yeah.
I think she's going to be aggressive in trying to get some things passed. I give her credit for that. I want to sit back and see what she does. So she is, I guess, a little bit behind the 8 ball based on some of the things that happened over the last few years. These things are going to be hanging over her head. She needs to free herself from these issues. The dirt issue, the boyfriend issue, whatever issue, the tickets issue, these are all hanging over her head, and she needs to come in and clean up things. She needs to leave the police department alone. I hope that she does. She needs to leave some of these departments alone that have been running, you know, fairly well over the last few years. She needs to look at taking care of the employees and the citizens. If she does that, she's off to a great start. I don't know what she's going to do, but she seems like she's setting up a team that'll be ready to go, and I have to give her credit for that.
Okay, Allan.
I'm hoping for the best. I mean, as a resident of Detroit, I mean, you want things to go well. I worry. I mean, I think it's a challenge for every new mayor. You're inevitably going to bring in some people who are friends or associates or whatever. All you ask for is that they be competent for that job, that they're not just being given jobs like we see in the Trump administration, where you've got the DOJ, you've got the FBI, you've got the Department of Defense, all headed by people who aren't competent to be doing that. And you hope that I don't have any feel for it one way or another, but you also hope that her father learns, like, you can just feel like he's dying to really get out there. He's saying, my quiet time is over now. The city doesn't need him, if he's going to get into squabbles with people and paybacks and vindictiveness. The city of Detroit really doesn't have time for that shit. We need to, move forward. There's still a lot to be done. It's one of these things, no matter what. We've never had a mayor who's left and everything's been perfect. I mean, every mayor leaves, and Duggan leaves with accomplishments and deficits. The previous mayor is the same thing, and we hope that she gets more wins than losses,
And Tamari mentions a few things that are really important. Go ahead, Vanessa.
So your question was, what do we expect?
Yeah.
What do we expect? Well, I expect for her to live up to her campaign promises. She says she's going to improve the neighborhoods. Great. She says that she's going to work with education. Great. She says that this city is going to be safe. I expect for her to work on all those things that she said that she was going to do. Are those things going to be accomplished in 1 year? No, but I expect to see some movement in all areas. That's what I expect.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, you sat on the fucking council for 12 years and never once mentioned education. And then all of a sudden, we had on the show, we had all the mayoral candidates, major mayoral candidates, and none of them wanted to touch the schools. Now, all of a sudden, Duggan was running for governor. He makes that a priority, and then everybody all looking at the education. But nobody has really laid out a plan. And the first plan, if I was running, would have said, I would have said, I would have a hostile takeover of the school system, even if I had to get the charter back on the ballot, force VD out of there. Because he done had his time and it's been a failure. We got to have somebody that's going to be an advocate. And we sat up here show after show after show, month after month, and Eric was like the canary in the fucking mine, saying, our kids are falling farther behind. Only 2% or 3% can live up to reading and math and all this other stuff, and we shouldn't be alarmed. Damn, we should be alarmed. There's no question we should be alarmed. I just read an article where a professor had a written assignment where they had to write the paper. Take a pencil or a pen and write it. Write the assignment out. And he said, these kids cannot write. And he's talking about middle class kids, wealthy kids, they can't write. So if the middle class and the wealthy kids are having educational issues, what about the ones that's in the neighborhoods that don't have a school across the street from them, or do have a school, and the swimming pool been broke 10, 20 years, and basically, it's just the school has been a failure. All they worried about is safety. A word that somebody's gonna bring a gun to school or whatever, but it's not education.
I think it's interesting because someone pointed out that the mayor-elect's father had a charter school and the doggone school closed down. So clearly he was interested in education. Now, why the school closed down, I imagine because kids weren't performing. But the point that I'm trying to make is that education has been an issue for a very long time. But you know what? You can focus on education all you want. If you don't have housing, if you don't have a good education system, I've said this, and you don't have safety. I've said this time and time again, you're not going to have a world-class city. You could talk about all these beautiful buildings that's downtown. You could talk about Midtown, Corktown, and whatever other kind of town. But you're not going to have a thriving city if you do not have a good education system, if you don't have a good tax base, which means you need families to move in the city, buying homes, paying taxes, and they're not going to be really attractive.
It's not going to happen because they moving to Eastland, East Point, Roseville, Warren, and that's where they at. Allan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was actually MLL has a program which I help a little bit with. It's for investigative reporting for high school and college kids. And on Thursday, we were over at Wayne Community College with a bunch of high school kids from Detroit, from the different MLK and all the different Detroit School of the Arts. And one of the story ideas, we asked the kids to give story ideas and stuff like that. And some of them were talking about how AI was being used so much. And what I worry about is that not only is some of the writing being done by AI, but also some of the mathematics. I mean, questions, whether it's algebra or geometry or whatever you're taking, now you just type it into AI and say, what's the solution here? And I worry that it's going to make students even learn less.
Well, you remember the slide rule? You remember the slide rule in math?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's obsolete. They don't even make it. It's like a museum piece, because they got computers and stuff.
Right.
These kids, If 100 years from now, they're not even going to talk to each other. There's going to be a computer chip, you
Right.
know.
I have
Yeah,
a question, Adolph, for you and for Vanessa, Allan, and our friends, if I may.
go ahead.
You said it's now become a priority, and I'm going to tell you it's not a priority. It's politics. Duggan doesn't care about education. Mary Sheffield's got way more on her plate. Education is going to be way down the list for her.
I know.
That's the reality. I
I
think
know.
it's politics, not priorities.
I know. Because Duggan was the one that helped loot the school system when they had the $1 billion bond. He was in charge of contracts, etc. Him, Freeman Hendricks, all them when the state took over the school district, and he never once said anything about the school system. Not one thing. And you're absolutely right. They could give a flying fuck about the school system. It is politics. But you know what? If these parents rise up and say, okay, be political and show what they can do, you'll see them scrambling and making it a priority. No, that's not number one. That's not on the number 10. That's not number 12. That's not number 20. She could care less.
So, Adolph, I'm going to go to some of these comments. Tamika Rainey, when you asked the question, what do you expect in the next year? She agreed with me. She said, I'm with Vanessa. Power Org says exactly. Adolph, exactly. Stephanie Jackson says, was honesty, transparency, and integrity mentioned in those speeches? She's talking about the mayor-elect when she was talking to the citizens. Eric Brown says the old Tammy, he's talking about the dirt issue will be a major problem for her, especially considering the relationship she had with the person responsible for bringing the dirt to Detroit. G Money says Mary will be given grace. She's made history and she will carry out about 75% of Duggan's agenda, and the other 25% will be her own agenda, and she will be moderately successful.
I don't think that's a bad take. I don't think
I don't think it's a bad take, but I don't think it's a bad take, but I think it's interesting when he says about she would carry about 75% of Duggan's agenda. I would think that she wants to carve out her own agenda, but I don't think it's
follow the path.
Yeah. Eric says the dirt would be the Detroit version of Flint. Sheila, when you're talking about education, she says, Miss Sheila says, get rid of the old books. Kenneth Reed said, VD is trash. Miss Sheila says the interim superintendent before him, Miss Alicia should have the job. Thank you. G Money said, let time run its course. Let's render a midterm grade, meaning on the mayor-elect in 24 months. Tamara Kimmons says, we expect Mary to use the recommendation of the reparations task force to make good on her promises. Okay. Stephanie Jackson says they have types of apps for math, etc. Power Org says you can expect the same politics from Mary-elect Sheffield the Atlanta Georgians got from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Lord have mercy. G Money says urban cities will never get an A grade for striving for better education. The system is not designed for success unless it's a city like Boston. Predominantly Black cities would never move the needle.
Well, and some of those are good comments and good takes. But what I see coming the next 6 months in the new year is that I want to see if she's gonna keep most of Duggan's appointees, or she's gonna sweep everything clean. You're gonna be able to tell where she's gonna be heading with some of the appointments that she makes. I hear that Santel Jenkins is going to be director of talent or some shit.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit that Duggan created. director of storytelling and all that kind of shit, which don't mean a damn thing. What is the director of storytelling? Can you tell me what that is, Allan?
Yeah, well, I think Duggan got tired of relying on the media to create his narrative.
Right.
So he was telling his own stories, right?
So he's hired. I think it's a second person already. I'm trying to remember his name, Eric something. But they're supposed to be writing stories and going out and writing positive stories and trying
They haven't done shit.
I haven't seen a lot of.
No,
there was different storytellers, but it's I don't know if that's the way to go. When there's a lot more needs out there and stuff like that. But it's interesting. I think when we had her on the show earlier this year, she said that she planned on keeping Todd Bettison as police chief.
Well, but that's 6-7 months ago.
Yeah, and that could change. It could definitely change, and who knows what people's relationships change.
Well, you don't have to be. You can. It's a civilian job. She can make her daddy chief.
But
Shit.
yeah, I mean, we'll see with corporate counsel. I mean, she seems to have a good relationship with
Conrad Mallon.
Yeah.
I'm sure she probably keep him.
Yeah.
Some of these folks. But I want to know if two things she gonna do: keep most of Duggan's appointees, and is she gonna endorse Duggan for governor? Now, that's a slippery slope right there. Is she gonna tell the Democrats, give them the finger, or is she gonna say I'm with the Democratic Party and fuck you, Mike Duggan, I'm the mayor now? So we'll see. That's what I'm looking at for next year.
It doesn't seem like they struck an immediate. I mean, he endorsed her. We haven't heard whether
that don't mean shit.
Right.
That don't mean shit.
He hasn't reciprocated at this point, so I don't know what their deal is. And maybe he's saying, "Hey, why don't you wait?" Or she's waiting to see. I mean, look, she endorses Duggan and Jocelyn Benson wins, then hopefully.
And they keep and they don't forget. Listen, Dana Nessel begged Coleman Young the second for his endorsement, and I say don't endorse that broad. He don't endorse it anyway. Wrote a letter, and then when he ran for mayor, she wouldn't even return his calls. She like he didn't exist, and then he looked at me. What? Why didn't she even tell me anything? I said, because that's how they do. I said, listen, she wanted your endorsement, but she wasn't giving you shit. Right. Who did that remind you of? Whitmer. Needed Garland Gilchrist for 2 elections. And then when he decided I'm going to run for governor, are you crazy? She sound like Red Fox on Sanford and Son. You big dummy. You can't win. Yeah, you can.
Go ahead.
How about some comments?
Yeah, Tamara says prediction: Duggan will lose the governor's race. Kenneth Reed says he remembered when DPS had 190,000
me too.
students. Now we're sitting at 40,000 students. Because of this, the city will continue to experience expanded growth. Someone asked, and that is, you don't like my music. He said, what did she do before politics?
Nothing.
The mayor-elect.
So Sprint phones and stuff.
Oh, she did. And I think You Don't Like My Music has a Chester Burnett quote in there. Do you guys know who Chester Burnett is?
No.
Never mind. Howlin' Wolf. Hoy hoy.
What is it?
Hoy hoy was the song by Howlin' Wolf. Never mind.
Okay. Eric says she's going to endorse him after she is sworn in. Could not have done it before she was elected. True Sensation says name recognition and politician recycling is our unfortunate history. They all overpromise and underdeliver. It's called. He said it's called lying. Stephanie Jackson says Detroiters didn't vote in the mayor's election. Duggan is hit with Mary's endorsement unless Duggan brings the transportation for the seniors. Eric talks about this picture that you talked about, Jim, the recent picture of Mary and Gretchen. He says it's very telling. You don't, and then you already talked about what you don't like my music says. Okay, that's it. That's it for our comments so far.
Well, let's take a break and come back and we continue this conversation.
Nearly 30,000 vacant lots all over the city of Detroit are for sale right now. That's right, nearly 30,000 vacant lots are available now, starting at just $100. The lot next to your house or the lot down the street. Make it yours today in just a few simple clicks. Find out if it is available by visiting buildingdetroit.org. At the Detroit Land Bank Authority, side lots are just $100 and neighborhood lots sell for $250. You can apply and pay online today by visiting buildingdetroit.org. And if you don't see the lot you're looking for, call our offices. Our phone number is 313-974-6869. Again, that is 313-974-6869.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. Along with all of our co-hosts, we have Adolph Mongo, Allan Lengel, and Jim Nardone, and myself, Vanessa Moss. Listen, y'all, you already know what we want you to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, share. Tell all your people about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. You can catch us on all social media platforms. You can catch us every Wednesday, Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock. And don't forget, Detroit in Black and White presents Reality Strikes, Eric Brown Show on Monday evenings from 8:30 to 9:30, as well as The Week That Was. That's Allan's show. He has a full cast of people on his show every Friday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. All right, we're back. You want me to go back, read some more comments? Because we have some other comments.
I do. I thought you don't like my music was trying to fool me on the music stuff, so I guess I was wrong.
Duela Boyce. Hey, Duela. She says, well, Crockett endorsed Gilchrist. Will that endorsement make a difference? Crockett. She's
Crockett from Texas.
She's talking about Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett can't get a vote in Michigan. I like Jasmine Crockett, so don't mean shit.
Right. And actually, Eric Brown answered the question. He said it doesn't mean anything. G. Monty Hollywood says, I got your back regarding the Derek Coleman part. Derek has always been instrumental in supporting his personal community and other communities around the city. They're talking about basketball player.
Well, he's a good guy. I like Derek Coleman. He gave back more than a whole ton of these people combined.
I got a great Derek Coleman story.
Okay,
at the Palace, he was playing for, I think, Charlotte at the time, and he was walking off at halftime, and some guy called him out, and he stopped, and he walked towards the guy, and I never seen a guy's face. He thought Derek Coleman was going to kill him, and it looked like he was. It was pretty interesting.
And I got a story. I was on the Frankie Darcell show, trashing Dave Bean, who recruited Derek Coleman to Syracuse, and Derek Coleman called up the show. He said, "Stop trashing my candidate, my mentor." I said, "Listen, he ain't shit." I dogged him out, and he said, "Well, keep talking. I'm gonna come down and show you a thing or two." I said, "Bring your butt down here," and I said, "I'll knock you out." Wait a minute. Next time I saw him, he's standing damn near 7 feet tall. He said, "Now you want to fight?" No, I don't want to fight.
He's a big man. I never seen a guy.
But he got a real good sense of humor, and he could take a joke. But looking at him, he's like, "Oh man, listen, I wouldn't want to beat him."
I don't think that guy will ever harass a professional basketball player again in his life.
Well, ain't no question. Go ahead, read some more.
Okay, so you have Tamara Kimmett. She not only called Mayor Duggan a narcissist, she says he's a legend in his own mind. She does not believe that he's going to be the governor of.
I don't either. I don't either.
And you don't think listen, I think that it will be, it's a stretch to think that people are not going to circle the one bubble or the other because it's easy to do. But I will say this about Mayor Duggan. I listened to one of his commercials on social media, and he said that people are tired of the same politics. People are tired of talking about
He's
Democrats.
talking about himself. That's he's talking about himself because he's the ultimate fucking lying ass piece of politician. That's what he is. He's a liar. He's a fucking liar, and nobody's going. He's thinking all these folks. He's the Pied Piper, and he's gonna get all the rats to follow him. But they're not gonna go and check that independence, and then come back to vote Democrat, unless they cheat and steal the AVs. That's how you're gonna win, or make it close. I say to either Republican or Benson, and I'm looking at Benson. I think Benson gonna get the nomination as Democrats, and John James leading the polls. I don't know if that's gonna stick, but I think that the Republican and Democrat and the Independent, Duggan's gonna get his votes. They don't know his ass up in the western part of Michigan and all these other places. They could give a fuck about him. And yeah, go ahead. But I would say they tired. They tired of him.
As I was saying, that commercial appeals to a lot of people because people are sick and tired of people saying.
But they keep voting the same people in.
Republican people are tired of that.
But they keep voting the same people in.
And for the record,
they keep voting the same fucking people in. How they be tired? They ain't fucking tired. You can tell. Trump said he can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they still vote for him, and he right. If people here they like who they like, you just said it. If Kwame ran again for office, he got people that gonna vote for him. They like him.
And Duggan got people that's gonna vote for him.
Yeah, but not the way he think they're gonna vote for his ass.
I think his message.
They not going independent. All of a sudden, black folks going independent. It ain't gonna happen.
Listen,
it ain't gonna happen.
I said his message resonates.
His message don't do shit. He feed them some chicken. He feed them some chicken and macaroni. That's how he gets the season.
Because we about to get into it. You
didn't get into it. I don't care. I ain't sweating the get into it shit. All I know is Duggan is a piece of shit.
Thank you, Eric. Eric pointed out that there's two different Derek Colemans, and we're talking about two different men. But I think the
basketball player.
We're talking about that Derek. That he's had an influence downriver. He's done a lot of things down this way.
Yeah, he's back, guys.
But he's a different guy.
G Money says Duggan would carry southeastern Michigan, but might lose southwestern Michigan. At the end of the day, he might pull it out. His roots are truly Republican. Watch out now.
He should become a Republican.
Adolph.
He should become a Republican. He should switch parties. He should switch parties. That's his roots. His roots is Republican. Whitner roots is Republican.
There's Republican. A little bit, I'm calling Derek Coleman on the phone, Adolph.
Fuck Derek Coleman.
Stephanie Jackson says Mayor should give funds from all the sports owners to fund schools. Every sports arena should be required to have affordable options for Black businesses to sell their food and
Where
games.
they want money. They ain't giving out no money. Chris Illich is not funding anything. They not funding nothing. They won't. Listen, Tom Gore got $40 million to build a training facility. He built a basketball court. That's what we get.
So you don't like my music, says federal coffers are being robbed more than ever, so expect the worst.
They was being robbed before this. So it ain't nothing new.
Kenneth Reed said, hey, y'all, Adolph is back. There was a question as to whether or not Jalen Rose's school is still open. Yes, it is still open.
At least I give Jalen Rose credit for trying to make a difference. Most of these folks don't. Man, a former J.R. Smith, former basketball player, said he regret when he was playing that he took $60,000 to a strip club and just threw it all around. He said, I could have fed my whole neighborhood 3-4 times and made a big difference with that little money right there. What he did, you know.
I want to make a comment though. I want to make a comment to you. You said that Mayor Duggan should become a Republican. Go to roots. He would not get the Republican nomination, number one, and you know that as well as the rest of the panel.
No, we don't know that. No, we don't.
He's not going to get it. He's not.
No, we don't get it. He's not going to get it anyway. But he would become a Republican. Listen, they will embrace him. He will be embraced.
They just want a winner. They don't care about ideology.
No, that's the bottom line.
Duggan would be the best Republican candidate in the race. Right?
Yes, he would be. Well, yeah, but hey, but who am I? I don't know anything, Vanessa.
I know you know a lot. I'm just saying.
I don't. No, I'm saying I don't know shit because of the election come, Duggan wins and shit, and people say, "See, I told you so." You don't know what the fuck. You need to go and retire. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Saying bye to all this shit.
G Money says, Adolph, people will be voting for a name and not a party when they go to the polls.
But it's different when they go in there. Listen, the Green Party will win if people was voting for names and shit. G Money, you wrong on that one, brother.
There's plenty of people who vote party-wise.
Right.
When the union tells people who to vote for.
The who?
The union. They're going to
vote. The union? What union?
They're going to vote for Jocelyn Benson.
What union? What union? Ain't no unions left. They sure didn't deliver for Reverend Kinlock. The union, the UAW, what happened to them?
It didn't matter.
They were with Mary. That's what really happened to them.
Well, I'm talking about the leadership.
UAW endorsed Kinlock. Mary got the SEIU, the service industry union, but Kinlock got the UAW.
Allegedly.
And wait till the service industry find out that she can give a fuck about the service people. You know, that's telling you. Well, anyway, y'all, I only wanted to stay on here for 30 minutes, and you got me, tricked me in the stand. But
well, you got to give a shout out to Ira Todd. He joined us this evening. He said, "Sounds like you guys are having a great time."
How you doing, Ira Todd? That's my man right there.
Ira's recovering from a hip surgery, but he's doing good. He's progressing.
And we have Dominique Richmond. She says, "Hey fam, I'm late to the party. I work late tonight. I'm not sure what the topic has been, but you guys think about Whitmer's? What do you guys think about Whitmer's response to what Trump said about Slotkin and the other Dems?"
What did Whitmer say?
It was all political.
What did he say?
she just basically said that this shouldn't happen and people shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that. And we need, yeah, it was just one of those political middle of the road kind of statements, if you ask me.
Well,
Yes, Kenneth, I raised
obviously
the
the
leg.
Trump administration don't know anything about the Nuremberg trials and shit. So, you know,
Well, we're gonna talk
like he
about that
got
tomorrow.
clowns running the military now.
We're gonna talk
And,
about that tomorrow.
yeah, they got fucking clowns. The head of the military, all of them. They don't know shit. And for somebody that was a draft dodging idiot, he's talking about somebody should get shot because they said that soldiers shouldn't follow orders. But that if they were in Afghanistan and they tell you to shoot 20 kids, are you gonna shoot them? Some people will. They do it in a heartbeat, and some people won't.
So Dominique says about the whatever Governor Whitmer said. She said she wasn't outraged enough for her.
Okay.
I'm running for president position.
Look, in Nazi Germany, everything that they were doing, exterminating people by the millions.
It was legal.
It was legal. So where do you draw the line where, you know, what's, you know, they're talking about, their whole message was don't do something that's illegal.
No, that's not what their message was, Alan. Their message was the military is a bunch of idiots. They're not smart enough to make their own decisions. So listen to us was their message.
No.
Well, you know what? Everybody got their own little agenda. And as I say goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Good night.